What is up, farming family? How y'all doing today? Today, we're going to be checking out the RONBUS R2.16. I'm going to be going over the specs. I'm going to be going over the power, the control, everything to do with this paddle. But first, we're going to do the specs. I hope y'all are staying hydrated. But let's get into this. This paddle is a Raw Toray T700 carbon fiber paddle, which, is what's popular right now. The paddle length is 15.7 inches. The face width is 8.1 inch. The grip length is 4.9 inches. The grip circumference is 4.25 inches, and it's an octagon. Okay, the grip is something that I really didn't like a whole lot on this paddle. They said this paddle is inspired by ping pong. So ping pong players and stuff might like the way the grip feels, but personally, it wasn't something that I personally enjoy. The weight, 7.9 ounces, give or take 0.2 ounces. The face and the paddle surface is Raw Toray T700 carbon fiber textured, which I already said that up at the top. The paddle shape is isometric, which is sort of similar to an oval shape. It's a polypropylene honeycomb core, which is also what's popular right now. It seems to be what everybody is, going with. The core thickness is 16 millimeter, which seems to be the average that everyone's going with when it comes to the raw carbon fiber paddles. It also has an edge guard. Previously, people thought edgeless, paddles and stuff were the big craze and were interested in them. But recently, people have been pushing the fact that edge guards make it more solid. It's like adding extra weight to the exterior, more stability. So edge guards lately have been coming back onto pretty much all recent paddles. The price is pretty good. Most paddles that are raw carbon fiber, other than the Legacy, because the Legacy right now I think is $150 and the Vadic's $140. Other than that, you're going to spend upwards of around $200+ on paddles. So you're getting this one for $120. I'll also have a code if you all are interested in using the code. It's FarmerPB. It'll give you 10% off. I'll get a kickback from that. But they've also got the R3.16 on sale on Amazon for $89. That's not my sale. That's just a sale they have. Figured I'd toss that out there for you. This paddle doesn't have thermoforming and it doesn't have the foamed edges. So if you like really poppy feeling paddles, you'd probably, rather try the Legacy or the Vadic. But if you want something that's softer feeling like the Electrum E or something like that, you could go down this path, especially for a budget paddle compared to Electrum and, the price other companies are going to release their paddles. The power on this thing, I would say, was probably average. It wasn't like a Black Ace's power, but then it wasn't soft like a gearbox either. When you swung it, you got enough power to be able to do drives. You were able to get your serves deep, but it wasn't to the point of being uncontrollable. My favorite part about this whole paddle was the driving ability. Something to do with the handle did make it easier for me to make my paddle face proper and do my drives more consistent than I normally would. But when I was doing every other part of, playing pickleball, the handle felt kind of weird to me. It just felt really good for the driving aspect. So I'd probably put the power around average. The paddle seemed harder to maneuver than the R1.16 and the R3.16. I guess it's due to the paddle shape. I felt like I couldn't get it around and, dink and stuff as quick as I could the other two paddles. Pretty sure it's the paddle shape, and I don't know if it has anything to do with the thickness of the handle as well, because it is a pretty thick handle. The spin was pretty good. It's, like I said, with the R1.16, I would probably put it right below the Electrum Model E. I've used Electrum Model E, and then I've used these paddles a decent amount, so I sort of know how they stack up. Don't know how the paddle texture is going to wear off over time. I know the Ben John's Hyperion and other paddles have a tendency to wear off. So only time will tell once you get these paddles, how they'll wear off. But you could get two of these paddles basically almost for the price of one Ben John's Hyperion. So your Hyperion runs out of texture. Oh man, you got to get a whole nother one. Well, you could get two of these and one runs out of texture, donate it or give it to some new player and then just play with your second one. I feel like this one had a lot to do with control as well. The handle was too thick and round for me. It felt like it was too clunky when I was controlling it. The paddle shape was really, really, really awkward for me. I've never played with a paddle that shape. I've usually stick with elongated or, you're just your standard size paddles. I haven't played with anything like this. And it was unique. I had a lot of fun playing with it. It was just not something that I could play good with. I might change my opinion on that if I got to play with it for a consistent, like 2 to 3 weeks. But after playing testing with it for several days, I still struggled with it compared to the R1.16 and the R3.16. So if I got this paddle, it'd be specifically because I enjoyed driving the ball. Like if I just wanted to, get a paddle that I could go out and be a banger and just drive more consistent drives than I normally would, I'd probably get this paddle because it felt really good doing that. And I always had fun doing that when I was using this paddle. But everything else kind of felt to me. But personally, I would recommend the R1.16 over the whole line of paddles. Durability. This isn't a single piece mold. So basically, with these paddles, they've got, the paddle head and then the handle, and they're putting them together, and it's 2 pieces. The Ben Johns Hyperion paddle is notorious for breaking in half. I don't know how durable these paddles are. These paddles were sent to me to try and send back, so I'm not going to bend them and try to break them. I was spiking the ball like crazy. I was doing hard drives. The paddle wasn't breaking. Now, I'm not going to say that it won't break because if, people get mad, smack their legs, get upset, smack their hands, the paddle could very, easily break for all I know. I didn't try. I'm just saying during regular play, it didn't break for me. Now, you might be stronger than me and do it, but I'm just going off my personal experience. Just don't try to be too aggressive on your paddles. This was an okay paddle. This isn't one that I would recommend to somebody who's going to play consistent tournaments and league play unless they were a ping pong player. Maybe. See, the handle's too small. If the handle was longer, I'd say a tennis player would like this too, probably, which they might. But for me personally, it doesn't fit my play style. It has, decent power. The control felt weird to me just because of the size and everything. And the price isn't, over the top either. Just not a paddle for me, so make your own choice and decide if, the paddle shape and the handle shape is something you'd be interested in. Because if you just take those two things, and if you like those, then this paddle could very well be your paddle, that you take and play in tournaments. It's just not something that I personally enjoy. And that's why I'm giving you feedback of how I felt when I played with it. But I hope you all enjoyed this. I've really enjoyed driving the ball with this paddle a lot. Can't even lie. It's probably my favorite paddle to drive with. It's not the strongest, but I felt like my drive was more consistent. I don't know. It had something to do with the handle and the way the paddle shape was. Never used a handle shape like that. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. If you all would like this kind of paddle shape, I'm very interested if you've played with a paddle like this. And if so, what was the name of the paddle? And let me know what paddles you want me to review in the future, and I'll see if I can get those. But until next time, stay safe, have a good day, stay hydrated. Peace, y'all.